Welcome everybody, this is Daryl, Celtic Frosty, here with my entry for the Metal Tag 2026. So what is the Metal Tag if this is the first video you're seeing? It's just a collection of questions that get you to dig into your record collection a little deeper. It was started by the Rock Scout and handed over to Heavy Metallurgy. So Marty and Alan did their run through of the picks last night. I spent the morning, New Year's Day, collecting up my responses, and I'm hoping to be one of the first out of the gate, so that way I can pick the surface level nonsense that most in my community probably won't pick. So I'm gonna juggle a bunch of things. I've got notes, I've got my albums, and I've got the questions from Marty and Alan. So hopefully others in the community, not only YouTube creators, but our Discord community, will jump on this. You know, it doesn't necessarily need to be posted anywhere but Discord. So hopefully those fringe players, Sunday Fish Cult, Metal Kev, looking at you guys, jump in and, you know, we can put a face to the name and get to know you guys even a little better. So let's jump into this. 20 questions, all metal related, with the exception of maybe one or two. One was very difficult for me. If people know me in the community, I'm just surface level power metal, so one towards the end I'm going to have to kind of reverse it and make it what did the community give me rather than what can I give to the community when it comes to power metal. But anyway, enough rambling, let's get on with this. First question is Giddy Up. 26 is the year of the fire horse. Show an album with a horse on the cover. A horse-like creatures such as a Pegasus are permitted, but you lose street cred if you show a unicorn. So, alright, first pick, fire and horse, Destroyer 666, Wildfire. Band that doesn't get talked about a lot in the community, obvious reasons. I'm not a big fan of this band, but this album and the black metal debut, oh my god, I just hit record and I'm already having a brain cramp. Unleash the Wolves? Yeah. Those are probably my two favorite, but definite horse and fire. Alright, Destroyer 666, first pick of the day. All right, number 2, Nostalgia. Show an album that you do not think is very good, but you can't bring yourself to get rid of. Okay, so this I have 2 in mind. I'm a big Crocus fan, so I have everything, but this album kinda sucks. But it's got some highlights on it. Check out that band photo. What the actual F. Love it. So Change of Address, Crocus. Yeah, this is in their period where the music ain't so great. But I'm never going to get rid of it. I think I purchased it for $3. Check that out, $3. It's probably about what Change of Address is worth. The one I went to first before I pulled Crocus, though, is this. I'm a big Def Leppard guy. The latter half of their career, once you get past Pyromania, if I find it for like $5 or less, sure, let's add it to the collection, but I'm not going to seek out anything after Pyromania. But this one, Hysteria, bothers the crap out of me for obvious reasons, just overplayed if you're my age, and the songs are bad, and it's got the worst song ever recorded by Def Leppard on it. But this one isn't as bad. Cheesy, yes, but good? I think it is. but Change of Address is not. All right. Number 3. GOAT. Show your favorite new album released in 2025. So, yeah. So I, like a lot of the community, went with Havakruno. This was the community's favorite. My favorite. Alan also showed it as his favorite. Just brilliant album. I actually came to this band before I even knew the heavy metallurgy community. One of the members on Sea of Tranquility was big on this band. So I've been with them for a while. In fact, the debut is All I Need. Hard album to find, though. Alright, next, From Beyond. Show a favorite album that is not a heavy metal album. Alright, I got that. I don't know why. I thought I put the records in order, but I didn't. Everybody knows in the Discord community, outside of metal, my biggest area is probably older country. This artist is usually labeled as country, but is so much more diverse than that. So it's Lyle Lovett. I got everything Lyle Lovett. So this artist goes from being country at times to big band, which is kind of what this album is. Blues, like Americana. Some of his stuff's even quirky alternative rock. I mean, this guy is all over the map. Lyle Lovett probably is the country, like Opeth or Sepultura are to our heavy metallurgy community. Just, impossible to categorize. If any of my metal brothers and sisters want to check out some Lyle Lovett, that's a good one if you like the big band sound. If you want more just rock and roll, quirky, poppy rock and roll country, I'd say Road to Ensenada. This is actually my favorite album, even though it's probably one of his most cheesy. The title track, Road to Ensenada, I think is the best thing Lyle ever wrote. Brilliant stuff. All right. Next, what do we got? The Unknown. Show an album that you can't remember ever hearing someone talk about on YouTube. One that comes to mind is Sorcier de Glaze. A few of our really big black metal folks on YouTube have shown this, but not a lot for how great they are. These are always the first 2 albums I play when the snow falls. Oldowan Gash. This is a band that I found at my local record store, and the guy there, Russ, just kind of recommended it based on the black metal that I do love. And when I picked it up and flipped it over, dude's wearing a Bathory shirt, so I was like, we are purchasing this. Really good. I haven't dug into them more. There was another full length that the record store had. By the time I went back, it was gone. But this is really, really good stuff. And one other, I'm a huge collector of anything Friday the 13th. I'm a big Friday the 13th nut. French death metal band Voorhees. I've never seen anyone show this. This is chapter 2. Chapter 1 is very hard to find now. I'm on the lookout for it. And they actually have an EP that they labeled chapter 2.5, which I think is brilliant. But everything is just Friday the 13th themed. You can even see the O in Voorhees is the hockey mask. But if you want to check out one song, Evil to Come, on YouTube, It's groovy death metal, trying to do the old school vein. It kind of sounds like if 6 Feet Under were better. I don't know. Hard to describe. Old school death metal. Some people might like it, but being a Friday the 13th nut, gotta have it. Alright, flip pages here. Number 6. I might have goofed up. I don't think I have number 6 on my list. Awesome. What a bonehead. 6, great first song. I don't know exactly what they called it on theirs. I'm missing that one from my list somehow. And I'm missing number 7. Jeez. Alright. Great opener. Even though I love the whole album, Exciter, maybe one of the greatest openers of all time. When I was on the stream with Marty and Jimmy, that was our topic, great openers, and I chose this, Exciter, just the birth of true heavy metal in my mind, at least the track. The album as a whole, you might have a hard time calling the birth of heavy metal, but yeah, Exciter certainly is. Great song. Alright, 7, an album you wish was longer. I'm going to pick very surface level, Rain and Blood. This album meant so much to me in my youth, still does. It was the soundtrack to my hockey team at the time in high school. And that 29 minutes was like perfect from getting into the locker room, getting changed before coach wanted to talk to us. 29 minutes was perfect. So as soon as Rain and Blood ended, coach couldn't wait to turn off the boombox and talk to the team. But I always pushed it at just one more track. Alright, number 8. We're back on track with having my notes. Show an album you bought that disappointed you. Alright, this band I've been with since late 1986, early 87 when I discovered them. A story I told on Metallurgy. But when this came out, I was so hopeful. Especially when I heard a few members of our community that I trust their opinion talking highly about it. Oh, this one just never connected with me. I think maybe 3 good tracks on the whole album. I've got pre-ordered Crushers of the World. Hopefully we rebound a little because this album just never did it for me. Alright, 9. The Return. Show an album you played in 2025 that you had not played in over a year. So this one, I think about members of the VC that got me to go back to things in my collection that had just kind of sat there. Even though I love them, I just hadn't thought about them until someone in the community pointed it out, and I was like, duh, let's go back and spin. Except Metal Heart here. I've said it before, Darcy is kind of one of the people in the community I look to fill in those gaps in my past where I might have dropped a band prematurely, because there are great albums out there. Before Darcy, I've only owned Restless and Wild and Breaker. I figured that's all I needed. I was so wrong. So I've been picking up Accept records and CDs all the time now. So that's one that I went back to because of him. Also, Flots. I mean, the debut here I go back to all the time, but other Flotsam and Jetsam gone back to because of him. Joker, an album with a hilarious cover art. So we got two here. Here's my number one pick. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous that we tried to get Tior and the kid merged into one. This is kind of their commercial leaning, glammy maybe kind of album. A lot of people in the community mock it. I do love it. Not the greatest Ryan, obviously, but I do love it. And then the second pick for that is Acid Rain, one that's always mocked for its cover and the album itself. I like it. I'm a crossover nerd, but yeah, it's not the greatest thing in the world. All right. Yearning. Name a potential album release you're anxiously awaiting in 2025. All right. So Marty took my big 1-2 last night. Merciful Fate is my all-time favorite metal band, so I've been jonesing and praying and hoping that they would do it again, or at least King would put out his next solo album. This is where we left off. A lot of people do not have kind words to say about this. I actually love it. But then I have to ask myself, do I love it because Merciful Fate is my favorite band of all time and King is my favorite vocalist of all time and I'm just jonesing for anything? Or is it that I really love this album? And I think I really do love this album. House of God, I think, is the low point for King solo. All right. Collector Scum. In your collection, is there a pesky gap in a band's discography that you're hoping to fill? Yes. One of the biggest of all time. I'm a huge Accused fan, and I am missing Grinning Like an Undertaker. So, luckily I was able to get this recently. This compilation has all of Grinning Like an Undertaker minus Down and Out with the Mad Poet. But that's on Straight Razor, which I do have on cassette at least. So I have that track. This is also missing the Who cover of Boris the Spider, which is disappointing because it's a great song. But still searching for Grinning Like an Undertaker, but at least I have the full album on this, minus Boris the Spider and Down and Out. Alright, Evolution. Talk about a band or an album that you think is successfully moving its respective genre forward creatively. Marty last night talked about Blood Incantation, which I am a big fan of, except for the Ambient album. And not even that I'm not a fan of that, it's just that I don't need to purchase it for my collection. I could go online and spin that in the background while I'm doing dishes and be happy. I don't need to buy that one. But one that I think is doing the same trajectory, but maybe a little better, Tomb Mold. So I've been with these guys from the beginning, and just their evolution from that dark, dank death metal sound to this, I think is really moving death metal in the proggy direction in the right way. Not that Blood Incantation is doing it wrong, it's just, I don't know, the hype behind that is, I think it pulls some people away from checking out Blood Incantation. But this, they do it right. Tomb Mold. Alright, Told You So. Show an album or albums that someone recommended to you that impressed you enough to purchase it. Alright, got that. I have also Chemist. We did this for an album club, and it impressed me enough that I had to go pick it up. great, great, great album. So thank you for that, Logan. The other one is Maze of Torment, which I've talked about a bunch. I always get great stuff from him. I really like his taste. On a black metal list we did on Discord, he brought up this album, which I'd never even heard of. But once I gave it one spin, I don't think the album even finished, and I was online trying to find a copy. It's just so brilliant. So this is Diabolical Masquerade. This album's so good. So I've already been digging in and checking out other stuff from this band and probably going to purchase it. So thank you, Devin, again. He's probably saying, I told you so. All right, number 15. King Cheese. Recommend a power metal album to Marty Worm that you think is exceptional. He's always on the hunt. This is the one where I dropped the ball. I'm just not deep enough with power metal to think that I could give Marty something that he hasn't heard is ridiculous. So the best I can do is flip the script on this question and say, what has Marty given me? Whole middle catalog of Halloween. I had never checked out Andy Darris until I met this community, and I'm so thankful now that I have. A lot of that. Owlbear was on my top 15 for this year, but something I could give Marty that's new to his ears, forget about it. Let's skip it. 2 Minutes to Midnight. What is the last album you bought in 2025? So, physically in a store, the last thing I bought was my last run to my local. I always dig through the used. And they had a used copy of Venom's Cast in Stone, which I thought was wild. I've never seen this in the wild, but I picked it up. $10 is probably too much for this album, but my record store just does a simple $5 a disc, and this is the 2 CD reissue, so $10. But collector scum, add it to the collection. Last one that I ordered online that came in 2025, Vulture's Vengeance, Dust Age. So good. Some people had it number 1 for the year. A lot of people had it in the top 10. I'm just starting to spin it now. When it was posted by Mike in the Discord, I checked it out a while ago and fell in love with the band, but not so much that I jumped on buying it till recently. So that came in as my last online order that came in. There's still stuff out there filling in the Sodom discography from the deep dive. I've still got 2 on order that are coming in, along with the First Century that I finally nabbed a copy of. Can't wait for it to arrive. It's supposed to be here Monday. All right, next question. 3 to go. Brain Drain. When feeling musical burnout, what is a nostalgic album that always makes you excited about music again? When I need a kick in the butt to be excited about music again, I always go to this band, and I don't see a lot of other people picking this, but this always sets me back in motion. I love DRI. I'm a huge, huge, huge fan. This is my favorite album, but anything kind of kicks me in the butt to get excited about metal again. Probably an odd pick, but DRI always does it for me when I'm feeling a little sluggish. And being of my age, every now and then, I love, pun intended, to go back to Kiss. Just takes me right back to my youth. This is my favorite Kiss. Marty showed Dress to Kill. I'm going to show this. I love it beginning to end. And it was the album that set my love for more aggressive, heavy music in motion. So, Kiss love them. All right, we're getting there. 3 to go. Where's Waldo? Show a classic or older album that you somehow overlooked for many years, that you loved as soon as you heard it. So, this is an album that I remember seeing in my youth and seeing it a bunch of times since then, out in the wild and at record shows and everything. And I was just like, that album. Even though I had never heard it, I just kind of bypassed it as, oh yeah, I remember that one. But now, love it. So it was Dennis, Analog Archives, who first showed this in a video and talked about how great it was. And something about the way he described it, I was like, next time I see that, I'm going to buy it. And I did. Where am I? Did find it cheap. So I picked it up, and I absolutely adore this band. This, in my youth, was what turned me off. If you look at the band numbers, I just thought, yeah, this album's not for me. But, you know, I talked about my love for Crocus. These guys look exactly like Crocus. I don't know why I decided this was not the album for me until recently, but Malice, License to Kill. Alright, 19. Hello, my name is. Was there a video or a stream that you participated in during 2025 that you are exceptionally proud of? Include a link in the description. So, I've been a part of the community for a while now, maybe 3.5, 4 years. They're coming up on 5 years, Heavy Metallurgy, but I've been with them, well, since the beginning, but I've only participated for maybe the last 4 years. But I had talked about wanting to start a channel and do this. They gave me a lot of encouragement to do so. And one holiday break, I just jumped on it and did it. And probably a little too early because I didn't have all the skills and all the technology to do so. But they were kind enough to invite me on the big show, even though I probably wasn't quite ready yet. But when I went on Heavy Metallurgy, the very first thing I showed in my storytelling episode was Pleasure to Kill. So we all know the album. It's one of the greatest of all time. But just a big thank you to Marty and Alan for everything you've done, everything you've built, and taking a chance on me and welcoming me in the community. So that's my 19. Hello, my name is. Into Glory Ride. This question cut off in my notes. This is one where you hoped a band would release one more great album in their career. And I am going to go the same as Alan went. I think a lot of people are going to choose this band. Just so important to metal in general, so important to me. A lot of people's favorite metal band of all time, which is understandable. It's just Metal 101. If you're a metalhead, you love Iron Maiden. If you say you don't, I question you even being a metalhead. It's just ridiculous. So, Iron Maiden. They have been releasing music that is still good. Book of Souls is very good, I think. But they're all just bloated. And not even with number of songs. That might be part of the issue, but I think the bigger issue is everything has like a 3-minute build-up and then a 2-minute breakdown at the end. Well, not breakdown, but closing section. It's just so bloated nowadays. So I'm hoping this band has one more in them, one more great album in them. And oddly enough, I'm going to end with a little story from a dream. We were doing, they, Metallurgy, were doing a Anthrax deep dive with chromium dioxide, and talking about Anthrax. So that night, I just listened to everything and had the strangest dream when I went to bed after that. that health issues got the best of Bruce Dickinson. Fingers crossed that that isn't going to be the case, but that health issues got the better of him, and he was replaced in Iron Maiden by another legendary singer, and they released one more 40-minute brilliant album to close their career. And in my dream, that vocalist who took over for Bruce Dickinson was Joey Belladonna. Very strange. I'm not saying I'm hoping for it to happen. I don't think it would even make sense for it to happen. But it was just odd that I had that dream after that Anthrax deep dive that he took over for Bruce and they released one more great album. All right, that is my Metal Tag 2026. Sorry, it was a little amateurish trying to juggle all the pieces here and read the questions. But thank you to everyone in this community. Thank you for anyone who's watching, who's new to me. Again, I'm Daryl, Celtic Frosty. Hopefully others jump on this and do your own Metal Tag. All right, you guys are the best. Happy New Year. Stay metal.